All right, Jeff Hathhorn joins us now.
This training camp update is brought to you by Smale Kia Greensburg and by Schleideck and New Flow Men's Health.
I like covering the sponsor's backside there. Training camp's over. I don't know if we're supposed to play those or not, Harry. Did you even know training camp was over, Harry? I'm asking honestly.
I did, but I thought I was supposed to run through the preseason. That's what I was told, so.
Hey, run it. Why not? Hi, Jeff.
What's up, boys? It's nice not to be on somebody's forehead today.
That is true.
Out of context, Jeff, that's a very funny statement that you make there.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeff, just your takeaways from Steelers camp. Maybe give us a couple that you walked away going, okay, maybe we didn't know about this and now we do, or maybe a couple of things that you thought you knew about, but maybe you don't.
I mean, I can't mention training camp without saying, Jalen Ramsey's a bad man. It's the difference is amazing when he's in that secondary and all the things that he can do in that secondary and seamless. Like normally you're moving guys around, there's going to be some type of issue, but it just had been seamless. Darnell Washington, how smooth he looks this year compared to previous years. I mean, we saw it a little bit in OTAs, but it's OTAs. But he not only is catchable, he can turn and make a move, and that's different. The way I think everybody had it wrong with Aaron Rodgers and what he was going to be like. What he turned out to be was just a cool dude who was interested in getting to know people, that would give grief to anybody, but could take it. That wanted accountability, but also admitted mistakes. I think we all had a perception of him based on comments from McAfee's show, and then what we found out. And then, obviously it felt a little better once you saw the offense get a little rhythm in the last couple of days.
Jeff, are you going to be at practice today? Are you allowed?
Yeah.
Okay, you will be at practice today. Okay, so who of that didn't play last week? Now, Mike Tomlin's going to speak at 1 p.m., I believe, today to tell us who is going to play and who isn't going to play. But of last week who didn't play, who would you want to see play on Saturday just to get a look at against the Buccaneers?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Jalen get in there, just to see him behind the offensive line, get a little work together. Not that we need to see him, but that's somebody I would like to see. I mean, in an ideal world, I'd like to see DK Metcalf catch a couple of passes from Aaron, but I don't think Aaron's going to play. Maybe Metcalf goes a little bit. We won't see Jonnu because he's been dealing with an injury. Maybe Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen together a little bit. See how that looks in a practice. I mean, we're talking about the game in practice today. We're going to see them all.
Right.
I mean, today we're going to see everybody who's healthy. And Aaron told us, last week that he gets more out of this because he thinks teams are willing to show more of their defenses or offenses because there aren't public eyes on it. Like, we're not allowed to report on any of it. If there is tape, it's only the team looking at it, and I'm sure they have some kind of agreement not to, let any of that out. So they're willing to not game plan against each other, but show some exotic looks that you're not going to see in the preseason. And let's see how this offense looks against there. And listen, it's a good Tampa Bay defensive line. It'll be physical. Let's see how that O-line holds up.
Jeff Hathhorn, our sports director, joining us here on the Fan Morning Show. Jeff, I don't want to jinx anything because I was talking a lot of junk on him early in camp. This is, to me, the biggest story. I know Ramsey, I know Rodgers, I know Cam, which we'll get to. But Broderick Jones, after an inauspicious start, seems like arrow pointed up. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, and, Pat Meyer told us the other day that it was as much about the soft tissue injury as anything. Given the way that he's improved since he's been healthier and had some time with Sayamalu, maybe there is something to that. Yeah, he has looked better. I mean, again, he's only had, 15 snaps that have been against an opponent. So let's see how that growing goes. But considering the first couple of days, when there were a couple of spin moves and Herbig got by him and, everybody thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a disaster. It has come a long way since then. And I do think his arrow is pointing up. I want to see it in a game. He's going to have some moments. Every left tackle does, but an elite one. But let's see how he handles that adversity on the left side. I think that will be the true test. When he has a bad game, what's the next game look like?
Jeff, what do you think happens first? Cam Hayward to be a full participant in practice or the Steelers sign another wide receiver?
I think this Cam thing might last a little bit. I think he'll probably. I'm going to guess he's still going to be out when cuts come, and I think when cuts come, they're going to go searching. So I would say probably another wide receiver. Listen, I don't expect anyone with huge pedigree or somebody that's going to cost them a ton of money, not because cheap or anything, but we've looked at how they've used Darnell. Like number 2 wide receiver isn't quite a luxury, but it's not something that you have to invest heavily in because you have a lot of other options, a lot of other weapons.
Jeff, how do you think this whole Cam Hayward thing plays out? Because I heard a really interesting theory from Brian Batko of the Post-Gazette who said he thinks the Steelers will roll some money over, but they want to make this look agonizing so it doesn't look like they roll over right away. Is that what you see going down?
Yeah, and I want to give Starkey credit because he started a show yesterday. He's like, listen, this is all the Steelers making sure that everybody thinks, don't come to us. Like, we're going to make it hard. We're not going to say anything nice about Cam. We're not going to discuss it at all because we wanted to make sure that when you come to us, the only reason we made an exception here is because he's a 10-time captain and what he's done for the organization. So I think there's some truth in there, but I do think they're going to get a deal done. And as much as, there's been so much talk about the defense, I mean, Cam wants to be a part of this. He thinks he had some kind of deal that he didn't work into an agreement that Doug that pointed out very well with you guys yesterday. But I think he's going to play.
I might have missed it or it might just not have happened, so you can tell us. Did anybody ask Rodgers about Cam potentially sitting out and what Cam had said about Rodgers on his podcast?
No. I think when we talked to him, I think a lot of us were like, we're early in this Rodgers relationship that's going to last all year. We'll save that for a little bit down the road. Maybe that's not the right thing to do, but I think you kind of build relationships with guys when you're in the media. And like, I think a lot of us felt like we threw that out there. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten an answer. He's not going to tell us. And it could have made the next one not as open as we've gotten from him.
Yeah, whoever asked the question, it'd have been tough for them moving forward. It's easy for me to say on high.
And listen, and there are times to ask those questions. Absolutely. I'm not saying that that's the case, but given that it just kind of happened, he's new to the team. I don't know if now is the time to ask that.
Yeah. All right, last thing, Jeff. Chris Boswell. What happens there?
I think they get a deal done there. I mean, he's got one more year on the contract. And listen, they brought Ben Sauls in. It's been a great opportunity for Sauls. He was awesome on Saturday. But I do think, listen, those guys, there's a narrative, I think, with Boswell that, yes, did the other day, on the first day, did he not show up to practice? Yes. But he was there for the last day of camp for all of it. He's been there for most of camp, even though he hasn't kicked a lot. Tomlin was talking to him just the other day in Latrobe. So I don't think there are issues. I think it's just contractually, what can they get to? And listen, they don't have to go far to make him the highest paid kicker if that's what he's looking for. It's $1.5 million, $1.7 million, something like that. So, I mean, we're not talking about a major chunk.
You going to say hi to Kalijah Cansey today?
Yeah. How about that? Servassier?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be cool. I wish this was something we could report on because what we're going to see is probably going to be physical, probably get it chippy at times. Man, and this is a very, for lack of a better phrase, this is a very talky secondary the Steelers have. And there are some wide receivers with some tenure on that Tampa Bay side. This is going to be fun today.
If there's not a fight, I'll be shocked.
Oh, there absolutely is going to be a fight.
Were there always
at
fights?
Always.
A scrum.
Always.
At least a scrum. Yeah.
Jeff, this was wonderful. It always is. We appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you after preseason game number 2.
Thanks, boys.
You're the man.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff Hathhorn.